Alright, this is the beginning of some crock pot pork street tacos. So, green chili. So I have some, of course, this is from last year. A bunch of hatch green chili that I roasted on the grill and froze. And here's a half a pork shoulder. What I do when pork shoulders are on sale, I cut them in half. So one roast has the bone, one does not. This one does not. Got some jalapenos, some serranos, lime, Lbs pepper. Got some ground pork, chicken stock, some tomatoes and diced green chilies, and chipotle powder, onion powder, garlic powder. This is like it's ground cayenne. This is actually sea salt, pink sea salt, pepper. And here's a big crock pot for the pork. And I already had half a bag of beans that I have, dried pinto beans that I have soaking right now. I'm going to soak these and start them, around midnight. Get them going. And I think the pork shoulder as well. So we'll see how this goes. Cheers. Okay, so it's the next morning. I put the dried pinto beans and the pork shoulder. They went in at 4:30, and I had that's a combination of chicken stock, store-bought chicken stock, and some saved pork stock from another time when I did a pork shoulder. So, and they got bay leaf in each one, rosemary, and then this little spice rub I made up of salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, cayenne pepper, black pepper, a little bit of cumin, and a little seasoning blend, which has parsley, oregano, and a little basil. So just to help perfume and give a good broth. And later on, I'll add the green chili puree to both of these. I have some green chilies that I took out of the freezer that I roasted last summer, and I'll blend those up and pour them in. But for now, this is going to be about at least 8 hours. Cheers. All right, it has been 12 hours. Really, it took 12 hours for the beans. So even though I soaked them overnight, sometimes I can get them done in 8 to 10 hours. Today was 12. Lots of starch, I guess. I don't know. And anyway, here's the pork falling apart. Got some great broth in here. Anyway, time to get this meal going. All right, next up, I'm gonna go ahead and add some of this mixture to the beans. Let that cook for a while. And you can see the pork doing good. See how soft that's getting. Oh yeah, getting nice and tender. Alright, next up, I got some olive oil in the bottom of the pan, heating up, and got some ground sausage. Going to fry that up and add some. I'm going to chop up some onions, jalapenos, green chili, and some tomatoes, and add that all in later. Alright, so you can see the sausage is just starting to brown. Next up, spice blend that I already used for the beans and the pork shoulder. How much is that? Alright. Then over here, got some chopped onion, chopped jalapeno, chopped serrano, and the poblano green chili. And they're all going in here. without making too much of a mess. Okay, this is what you're looking for. With the meat and the onions and peppers all cooked down, nice and juicy. So we'll turn off the heat and set it aside and add it to the beans and the pork crock pots later on. Cheers. Oops, forgot one thing. The diced tomatoes and green chilies. So have to, excuse me, stir those up and let them cook a little bit. Okay, next up, time for guacamole. So actually I may need more than one avocado, just in case you guys are wondering. A lot of times I wear gloves, especially if I'm going to have a lot of people over. I try not to touch my hand to the food, that kind of stuff. But in this case, when I dice hot peppers, I wear gloves. Just in case you forget, you don't wash your hands and you touch something you shouldn't touch with the hands with jalapeno juice on them. That makes a big difference. You'll be paying for it. Anyway, got onion, avocado, lime. Gonna squeeze some lime juice in there. Serano pepper, jalapeno, and then cilantro, fresh cilantro, some olive oil, some ground cumin, and I'm gonna do salt and pepper. Okay, next up, time for guacamole. So actually I may need more than one avocado, just in case you guys are wondering. A lot of times I wear gloves, especially if I'm going to have a lot of people over. I try not to touch my hand to the food, that kind of stuff. But in this case, when I dice hot peppers, I wear gloves. Just in case you forget, you don't wash your hands and you touch something you shouldn't touch with the hands with jalapeno juice on them. That makes a big difference. You'll be paying for it. Anyway, got onion, avocado, lime. Gonna squeeze some lime juice in there. Serano pepper, jalapeno, and then cilantro, fresh cilantro, some olive oil, some ground cumin, and I'm gonna do salt and pepper. Instead of making regular guacamole, I decided to go for more of a chunky style. So I'm going to call this, it's an avocado pico de gallo. So this got avocado, onions, serrano peppers, jalapenos, tomatoes, salt, pepper, lime juice, ground cumin, a little olive oil, and cilantro. So this is good for street tacos. Chunky salsas are good for street tacos. All right, it is time to eat. I got some. So here's the crock pot pulled pork and the crock pot green chili beans. And these took 12 hours today. That was the what took the longest. And here's some roasted salsa I did the other day on the grill. Tomatoes, onions, jalapenos, cilantro. And here is a avocado, chunky avocado, pico de gallo. Got avocados, onions, jalapenos, serrano peppers, salt, pepper, some cheese, some limes, and homemade flour tortillas. I'll have a video on how to make those included with this video, and then some Mission street taco corn tortillas. Anyway, it is time to eat.